I wanted to just peel back the onion a little bit further on this concept of data-driven digital networks. In many ways, what you're describing at the heart of that is this digital network that you're referring to. Talk a little bit more about what you mean by that, as you I know have established in your book, is that is an enormous differentiator. The most successful companies have leveraged those and leveraged them successfully. Talk a bit more about the ingredients of that, please.
Yeah, it's really important. These data-driven digital networks, or DDDNs, are basically the platforms behind these digital giants. And if you're building a brand new digital giant from scratch, you basically have to have 5 elements. And this is what's not in the book. So we'll pull this out because you write the book and then you end up saying, hey, wait, if we could simplify this book again, how would you do it? Right? You have a whole year to think about it. You know how this process works.
Exactly.
And so we came down to 5 steps. The first one is you have to disintermediate customer account control, right? You basically have to stick yourself in between. If you're an intermediary and you're not adding value, you're out of the game. If you're an intermediary and you're actually disintermediating a customer account control, you're now a digital giant. The second part is you're actually competing for data supremacy. And we'll talk about a little bit about that. I'll use an example to pull this all together. The third one is we're building the biggest network that's possible. And the fourth piece is really thinking about how we create new digital monetization models. And then the last piece is you got to have a long-term mindset. So let's take a classic example. One of my favorites, the digital transformation winner of our time was really Domino's Pizza. I mean, let's be honest. These guys kicked butt, right? They went from a $3 stock to, good God, like $300, right? Better returns than most tech companies between 2010 and 2019. So these folks have won, right? You can order pizza on Alexa. You can do it on a mobile device, right? They can place the order. They tell you the status of the order. Order's been placed. The pizza's in the oven. We're 10 minutes away. We're 5 minutes away. And here's your pizza. And by the way, take a picture of that pizza and run it through the AI engine. We'll tell you how good our franchisee was, right? And that's brilliant, right? They've won the battle for digital transformation. But let's be honest, you might order pizza maybe once a month, once every 2 weeks from Domino's. And that frequency is actually pretty low compared to food delivery apps, which you might order 2 to 3 times a week, right? So a Deliveroo or a Swiggy or a Gojek if you're outside in the international areas. If you're in the US, Postmates or Uber Eats or DoorDash, right? You might order 3 or 4 times a week from these places. What do? The small businesses who couldn't do delivery handed over their customers, their customer data, the payment information, and their preferences, which got aggregated. So that's the first part. Customer account control, disintermediation, right? They just did that. So now the biggest network has just been formed. We got millions of customers on any one of these food delivery apps. And more importantly, they're taking the data and saying, hey, Peter, in your zip code, more people like Thai food than Italian, right? Okay, so we probably should find more Thai restaurants. Or maybe if there's no Thai restaurant, let's go build a ghost kitchen. In fact, we don't need these restaurants. They've given us their preferences, the frequencies. We can actually take them out, build a ghost kitchen, and supply the whole entire region with our folks, streamline delivery, and actually use that data to set pricing and completely set preferences and test out new markets. Oh, wait, they just won on data supremacy. And then they're going to do digital monetization. They're not just making money on deliveries. They're going to make money on the search and the ad placement and the offers and the loyalty programs on the back end, fulfilling that loop. And at the end, they're going to have their own closed loop digital ad network. And then they're going to do reviews. They're going to continue to build that community. Suddenly that big network is going to grow from millions to tens of millions to maybe hundreds of millions. Okay, that's great. And guess what? They can lose $100 million and nobody's going to blink an eye because they've been funded for long-term growth, right? They don't have to worry about the margins like Domino's has. Now, if you're Domino's and you're facing this dilemma, Domino's, please listen, because you never pick up the phone when I call. I was going to say, Domino's, please listen, right? Imagine if you do delivered by Domino's and helped all the small businesses around you that are not pizza chains, right? And give them the ability to leverage your infrastructure, your paid for drivers, your digital transformation investments. You could be the world's biggest food delivery service and deliver pizzas once every 2 weeks. That is the game. Now, can you get Domino's to think like that? They've got the culture. I think they could pull it off. Will they listen to someone like me? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see if they hear this webcast and call. But you get the idea, right? But they're getting their butt kicked by food delivery apps in the long run. And you see that in markets like India, where Swiggy's build ghost kitchens. Well, you need Domino's? No, you're going to order pizza from, this thing that looks like an Italian pizza chain, though it's all operated by the same ghost kitchen, right? For those people who know ghost kitchens, they're basically large facilities that put up storefronts of like 15 to 20 different types of genres. It's all being cooked and created in the same place and then ultimately delivered out, but they look like they're separate restaurants.